What is good, defenders? Helps if I add myself to the stage. It's a solo scarf endeavor. It's the night before a match, so you know what time it is. It is time for one more sleep. That is right. And this is a very special Tuesday match that we've got here at BMO Stadium. And look, you guys all know it's Scarf here, everybody. I love the US Open Cup. I am so excited for this match to be at BMO Stadium. What's good, Oscar? What's good, Mario? Everybody in the chat. Love having you guys here. Hopefully you're excited. Look, if you're just a regular supporter of LAFC, it's a $20 ticket. That's right. $20. If you're in the 3252, it's a $15 ticket. There is no reason why we should not pack BMO Stadium tomorrow night. The match is on 7:30. We are the last US Open Cup match of the day. I cannot wait for this match at BMO Stadium. I keep neglecting Hello Kitty. I like this. Here we go. Hold on. Why do I keep neglecting Hello Kitty from joining so I won't be a solo scarf? Hello Kitty, it lives in Philomonster Studios along with the other 3 cats that they have there. We love all of our cats, but we keep them over at Philomonster Studios per the rental agreement where I live. Not allowed to have cats, so unfortunately, no Hello Kitty. Oscar says no sound. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Are we having a sound issue? I'm hoping we're not having a sound issue. I tested everything. Maybe it's just Oscar forgetting he has his computer on mute. If anybody else is out there, please let me know that you can hear me. Thank you to everybody on Instagram. I love Aguilar6 over on Instagram right now. I'm trying really hard. I'm juggling Instagram. I've got everything going on in StreamYard. This is fun. Thank you to everybody who said they could hear me. My favorite, Aguilar6. I'm an LAFC fan from Virginia, and I can't stand Loudoun United. Well, you know what? We're going to get to know Loudoun United a little bit more here on this episode of One More Sleep. And again, thank you all for joining in. As you know, the U.S. Open Cup is the nation's longest and like one of the top 5 or 6 longest running national soccer cups in the entire world. This is so much fun, and I'm still so pissed about MLS not getting all 29 teams behind the US Open Cup. Shut up, put up your money, and go play. I know it's not a big thing for Apple TV. It's not a big thing that involves Liga MX, but you know what? A CONCACAF Champions Cup spot is on the line, and I'll tell you this, we want this cup. Other than winning MLS Cup at the end of the season, this is the best way for our club to get into the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And sure, some may say, well, hey, look at how many MLS teams aren't playing. Look at how many other teams. Sure, I get all of that. But you know what? A cup and a trophy is a cup and a trophy, and we would like to put this one in our case after coming relatively close our first season in 2018 before falling to the Houston Dynamo. So look, this is the fun part. Loudoun United. This is what makes the US Open Cup so much fun. Want to remind everybody, there are only 16 teams left. That's why this is called the round of 16. Makes sense, right? But only 6 of those clubs are MLS clubs. We'll talk about them in just a second. We have 9 clubs that are USL Championship clubs. And in case you don't remember what the USL Championship is, it's where all of the feeder teams for MLS used to play in. It is the 2nd division in the American soccer period, right under MLS. Is USL Championship. All kinds of fun teams out there. Teams like the El Paso Locomotive, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. There are so many fun clubs out there. I absolutely love following USL Championship, USL 1, USL 2. Look, I'm a huge Forward Madison fan. Rhode Island FC is a team that I'm supporting from afar and watching them. And it's so much fun to watch these lower level clubs. We get to watch players like Cal Jennings. We get to watch all of our former guys that are competing on the lower level still. Danny Trejo, really fun teams like Phoenix Rising. I mean, this is a whole lot of fun. Let's talk about who is left. 6 MLS clubs, 9 USL Championship clubs, and like SoCal was mentioning in the chat, one MLS Next Pro Club. Let's find out who that MLS Next Pro Club is. I love Big Ben right now is on fire in the Instagram chat. Yesenia, thank you for joining us. Big Ben, head on over to the other chat, please, so that I can actually look at everything. Mendo, you asked about who the bracket is. Well, let's take a look. Here is what we've got going on for the round of 16. That's right. The round of 16 includes 5 matches tomorrow, including ours, and 3 more matches on Wednesday. So let's take a look at the 5 matches tomorrow. Charleston Battery taking on the Atlanta United. And of course, that is a home game for Charleston Battery. Charleston Battery, USL Championship. Atlanta United used to playing in their massive stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which, by the way, I just drove by. It is a massive complex. I was in Atlanta last week. Absolutely beautiful. SoCal, you hold on to that thought about Wesley Leggett. More to talk about him in just a minute. I like where your head's at. The second match of the day is a fun one. High scoring. New Mexico United against NYCFC 2. NYCFC 2 playing at Belson Stadium in the home of Philly, who couldn't be here tonight. He's got a little tummy bug. Queens, New York, Belson Stadium. Philly would probably be able to talk all about Belson Stadium if he were here right now, but you know what? We're not talking about NYCFC 2, and we're definitely not talking about New Mexico United, even though they are scoring goals in bunches. We've got the other home game for an MLS club tomorrow is Sporting KC taking on FC Tulsa. That, of course, is at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas. The real fun one, Heart Health Park, Sacramento, California, Sacramento Republic, San Jose Earthquakes, trying to not be the little brother team. I believe we are correct in the chat, you guys. We would play if we win, when we win, while we win. We will play, I believe, the winner of Sacramento Republic and San Jose Earthquakes. I don't know who would host it just yet, but that's the 4th match of the day. Absolutely hoping, loving Sacramento Republic takes care of business against San Jose Earthquakes. And of course, us against Loudoun United. They're traveling all the way from Leesburg, Virginia. A little bit more on that in a second to come take on LAFC at BMO Stadium. And then the 3 matches that are happening on Wednesday. Philly calls it Ooey Pooey, IUPUI, Indiana University, Purdue University of Indiana, I think is what it is. Hosting Indy 11 versus Detroit City FC. And what I love about Detroit City FC, they've already had one cup set. They have already dispatched an MLS club. The one that I'm really looking forward to for Wednesday is actually Tampa Bay Rowdies and FC Dallas. Will FC Dallas take this match seriously, or will they let the Tampa Bay Rowdies, led by former LAFC member Cal Jennings, come rolling in at home at Al Lang Stadium, where it is an absolute raucous environment? That Rowdies environment certainly does make it rowdy there in Tampa Bay. And then the final game of the round of 16. This should be fun, but they're not playing in at their normal field at Lumen. They're playing at Starfire Sports Complex in Tukwila, Washington. Seattle Sounders and Phoenix Rising, one of the best teams in USL Championship over the last bunch of years in Phoenix Rising against Seattle Sounders. Cal Jennings playing for Tampa Bay Rowdies, since you asked in the chat. Look, I think we are going to be playing a roster of first teamers. We'll get to that in just a second, but I think we will be playing a roster of first teamers. So we'll see what happens with that in a second. Let's talk for just a sec, if you don't mind, about Loudoun United. Loudoun United is the only MLS affiliated side still in USL Championship. As you know, most MLS clubs took their teams from USL Championship and brought them to MLS Next Pro. MLS Next Pro is considered Division 3, not Division 2. USL Championship considered Division 2. And because of an issue with the leasing agreement for Loudoun United Stadium, Loudoun United plays in Leesburg, Virginia, at a stadium built by DC United, who is their affiliate. This stadium was built by DC United for Loudoun United, this 5,000 seat stadium called Segra Field, Segra, Segra Field. This stadium was built just for them, and part of the leasing agreement says that Loudoun United must continue to play Division II soccer, which means they could not drop down with the rest of the teams to play in MLS Next Pro because that's Division III. And by the way, if you've watched LAFC 2 and many of those teams that they play in MLS Next Pro, it is certainly Division III. It is kind of hard to watch sometimes, but when we are cooking, we are cooking. But that being said, because they have to stay in Division II, there's only one side in all of USL Championship that is still MLS affiliated, and that is Loudoun United, the DC United affiliate. Several players who have made the jump to DC United have certainly gone through Loudoun United, but you know what? It hasn't helped the fortunes of Loudoun United at all. They have played, this is now their 6th season, starting in 2019. Now, they lost most of the season for COVID in 2020, just like many other teams did. But let's talk about the way that they've played in their full seasons. They've been bad. Their last 3 seasons, how about dead last, I believe, in the Eastern Conference in 2021, 11th in the Eastern Conference in 2022, and 11th in the Eastern Conference in 2023. They were not good. Now, this season, they are currently above the playoff line in 8th place in the East after a 3-0 win over our old friends Monterey Bay FC last week. So Monterey Bay helping Loudoun United get above the playoff line. We all remember Monterey Bay from last year's U.S. Open Cup. So right now, Loudoun United sitting 8th, although through 11 matches, not good. They have 11 points through 11 matches. And that being said, I can do that math real quick, being the middle school math teacher that I am. They're averaging a point a match. That's not very good. Their goal differential is -4. Goal differential -4 on the season. 3 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws in those 11 matches. They have been shut out 4 times this season already in those 11 matches. And stop me if you've heard this before about LAFC until last week. They are winless on the road. 0-4-1 on the season on the road. And you're telling me they're going to travel all the way from Leesburg, Virginia to BMO Stadium on a Tuesday and take out LAFC? Not going to happen. I cannot wait to see what LAFC is able to do to this club. So I know I heard somewhere that DC United sent a center back. I think we have it on Aguilar 6. DC United just sent one of their center backs to Loudoun United on loan for this season. Yeah, you know what? It just doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to matter at all. They did not beat Orange County 3-0 in the U.S. Open Cup. I'll talk about how they got there right now. Let's talk about 2 of their players that we might want to watch, at least for how they play in USL Championship. It has very little to do with how they play in US Open Cup. That's right. They use different players more often in USL Championship than they do in US Open Cup. It's really weird. Couple of players to watch. Zach Ryan, their leading scorer in USL Championship with 3 goals. Kwame Awuah, their leading assist man in USL Championship with 3 assists. So through 11 matches, their leading scorer has 3. Their leading assist man has 3. That does not strike fear into the hearts of anyone black and gold. Their goalkeeper for USL Championship is a man by the name of Hugo Farot. He is from Cannes, where they have the film festival out there in France. He also played at Florida International University. I don't know how you can go from Cannes in France, it's pronounced Cannes, I know, but Cannes in France to go to Florida International University. But I mean, he's their starting keeper, started all 11 matches that they've played in USL Championship, except not so fast, my friends. They actually start a different goalkeeper and have for the last 2 seasons when it comes to the US Open Cup. A man by the name of Dane Jacquemin, 23-year-old from Pittsburgh, the mean streets of Pittsburgh. He barely plays in the USL Championship, but last season he started all of their matches in US Open Cup. This season he started both of their matches in the US Open Cup. So they use a second keeper. I don't even know how to keep up with these things, but they do. They use a second keeper. So I don't know. Are we watching Hugo Farou? Are we watching Dane Jackman? I don't know. So the keeper for one of these times is not my players to watch. We will get there in just a second. This is the first time they have ever made the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup. That's a little bit misleading because they've only ever played in the U.S. Open Cup twice. They've been so bad during the seasons over the last few years that they have not qualified. They made it last season to the U.S. Open Cup and lost. This season, however, how did they get there? I mean, they're all the way into the round of 16. Well, they've had to play 2 matches. They've had to play against the Richmond Kickers. I had to look them up. They're not the Kenosha Kickers of Uncle Buck fame. They're the Richmond Kickers. They won on penalty kicks 5-4 after a thrilling nothing match. After added time and everything else, they played 120 minutes. Neither the Richmond Kickers nor Loudoun United could score. So they went to PKs and won 5-4 to make it to the round of 32, where they played Orange County Soccer Club. That's right, OCSC. You guys remember OCSC. They defeated OCSC 2-1, and that's how they wind up here in the round of 16, getting to travel all the way across country to play at BMO Stadium on a Tuesday night. So all of that being said, let's get into our favorite parts of this, our players to watch. And this is where I get to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to add these slides back to the stage. It's going to show the wrong slide for a second, and then I switch. And there we go. Players to watch. For Loudoun United, there are 2. And if you guys are reading the chat here, then it's definitely someone who's SoCal, who seems to really know their lower level soccer in the United States. I absolutely love that. Wesley Leggett. Watch out for Wesley Leggett because he scores in Open Cup matches. How do I know that? Because he scored both of the goals against Orange County so that they would win 2-1. If Wesley Leggett doesn't score, they lose 1-0. We're not talking about Loudoun United. We're talking about playing against Orange County Soccer Club. So Wesley Leggett, a 23-year-old from Jersey, scored both of those goals. That's why he is one of my players to watch. And my second player to watch on this one is on the other side of his career. Wesley Leggett, 23 years old. He's young. He's upcoming. He's trying to make a name for himself. And then that being said, the other end of the spectrum belongs to Florian Valot. Florian Valot is a 31-year-old Frenchman, and I might have spelled his last name wrong now that I'm thinking about it. Either way, Florian Valot, 31-year-old Frenchman. He came through the youth systems of both Paris Saint-Germain and AC Monaco. So coming through really storied programs when he was much younger. But that being said, it hasn't really clicked for him when it comes to professional soccer. He's played in USL Championship, various clubs, but he's also played 50 matches with New York Red Bulls. And Philly would get so upset if I didn't do this. The New Jersey Energy Drinks. From 2018 to 2021, he played 50 matches with New York Red Bull, 5 goals and 8 assists. So he contributed 13 goal contributions in those 50 matches. He has CONCACAF Champions League experience. He has MLS Cup playoff experience. Florian Valot is not going to be afraid of the big lights at BMO. We did have somebody ask Mendo in the chat. After a tie, does Open Cup have extra time and penalty shootouts or straight to PKs? I believe it is 2 15-minute added time periods, 30 minutes total, and then they go to PKs. So I believe they play 2 15-minute periods, and then they play, then they go to PKs. And even if somebody scores in the first 15 minutes, they still play out both legs of the 15 minutes in US Open Cup. So Florian Valot and Wesley Leggett. I don't need to talk to y'all about why Denis Bouanga is one of my players to watch for this match because, of course, it's Denny flipping Bwanga. And finally, we've seen him be Denny flipping Bwanga again because he's scoring goals again, and it is great to see. But not only do we know that he's scoring goals, he's also assisting on them as well, which is so much fun. And it's just great to watch Denny Bwanga be the best player that he can possibly be. And again, one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 players in all of Major League Soccer. But the second player I want to mention, with the Ryan Hollingshead injury and the unsure status that we have about Ryan Hollingshead before this match, I want to say something about Omar Campos. Omar Campos was a player that we expected quite a bit from during the start of this season. And it's very possible that maybe we asked a little bit too much of Omar Campos too early. However, what we have seen from Omar Campos since then is a player who is starting to flourish again in this system. He's been playing very, very well. And I really like what I've seen, especially on the offensive side of things. It appears that they've been dropping back Sergi Palencia a little bit more, allowing Omar Campos to get forward a little bit more, and he seems to be more comfortable. And I was someone who picked on Omar Campos quite a bit, especially after the snow game debacle. I really like what I'm seeing and how he's redeveloping himself in this system under Steve Cherundolo. Oh, by the way, more on Steve Cherundolo in this match in just a minute. But I like Omar Campos, and if I'm going to get on Omar Campos when I didn't think he was very good, I've got to make sure I say good things about him when he is playing well. And I really like the run of form that we have seen from Omar Campos over the last couple of opportunities that he has gotten. So, with Florian Valot and Wesley Leggett on one side, Denny Bwanga and Omar Campos on the other, what are my keys to the match? Let's talk about it. First is to feed the beast. And what I mean is to get that ball to Denny Bwanga in space, whether he's in the middle of the park, whether he's on the wings. We have seen a new and almost reinvented Denny Bwanga this season, where he is just as apt to make a beautiful pass to someone who can actually finish now. Kike Oliveira, nicely done. Make the right pass is what Denny Bwanga has been doing for the last several matches. Putting the ball into the back of the net is something that Denny Bwanga has done really well over the last several matches. So we just need to feed the beast. Denny Bwanga is the straw that stirs the drink. How LAFC fares is how Denny Bwanga fares, and how Denny Bwanga fares is how LAFC will fare. And the second thing that we have to make sure that we do is to dominate the air. And we have seen players like Maxime Chanot and Kai Kamara absolutely dominate the air against our several last opponents. I love the way that Maxime Chanot has settled into this system. I love the way that he's playing now so confidently in the box. I don't like him 1v1 out on the wings, but I like him in the 18. I like how smart of a defender he is. He is developing into that player we thought he would be coming over. So we need to dominate the air. And that includes set pieces in the offensive 18 as well as in the defensive 18. It would be great to get another Kai Kamara US Open Cup goal. Remember, Kai is one of 3 players on LAFC's roster that has won the US Open Cup before. And I think we treat this as a first team match. Maybe we don't see Elie Sanchez as much. Maybe we start Kai Kamara up top, Matty Bogusz in the midfield with Edward Atuesta and Himothy on the other side. I think it's going to be one of those where we are playing to win. Matty Bogusz did not have his best match last match, despite that beautiful pass to Denny Bwanga for the second goal. There were very few times, by the way, that Matty Bogusz really put an impact on that game. But when he did put his stamp on it, they were big stamps. Carlos Mariscal in the chat. Carlos is now a father for the second time. Congratulations, Carlos. Beautiful baby boy. Could not be happier for you, my friend. So look, we are going to dominate the air. We're going to feed the beast, and we're going to treat it like it is the first team matchup. And finally, what's my score prediction? I mean, we've been rolling with 3-0 victories for the last couple of seasons, and we have been rolling with 3-0 victories recently. I absolutely love this club to simply go out and dominate a side that does not belong at BMO. They literally don't even play in our league. We cannot allow them to stay around. We need to score early. We need to score often. I think we are going to go into the half up 2-0 and continue to press and be forward rather than wait for a team to attack us. That is who we have been recently. That is who we have played like over the last few matches. And I think personally, and Rob says the same thing. I'll put Rob's comment up here. He says, I'm thinking 5-0. I was being conservative when I said 3-0. I certainly think this could be far worse. And I certainly think that this could be what we have needed to kind of get the ship going again. In this U.S. Open Cup, man, I really like, look, we just saw there are only 6 MLS clubs still left. We are one of them. It is ours for the taking. Seattle playing much better as of late. Atlanta United, we don't know what we're going to get. San Jose Earthquakes have been awful in MLS this season unless they're playing us, apparently. So they're clubs that are there. The clubs that are there are the clubs that we should feel like we can beat every single time out. So if we're going to feel that way against MLS competition, I absolutely think we are going to feel that way against USL Championship competition. And again, I believe we do get the winner of San Jose Earthquakes and Sacramento. So I've said 3-0. I've said that we're going to come out and dominate. The one thing we haven't talked about is who will be on the sidelines, because it's not going to be Steve Cherundolo. Steve Cherundolo got a red card. And from what I've heard, and I've tried to track down the reason why, from what I've heard about Steve Cherundolo's red card, it was simply because he came out on the pitch. I don't think he even said some of those magic words that can easily get you a yellow and or a red. And by the way, words that the referees hear an awful lot amongst the sidelines there. So I think it was literally because he actually physically came out on the pitch during the run of play. The half was not over from what I understand. He came all the way out on the pitch, got the red card. I don't think he's even allowed to appeal it. I'm not sure. But that being said, I do not believe it will be Steve Cherundolo on the sidelines. I believe it will be Ante Razov. And you know what? He's got an incredible staff down there with him, obviously with Mark Dos Santos and Enrique Duran, who has coached in USL and has coached LAFC too, and really has a wealth of experience out there. Yeah, that ref, he was, they don't come to see the referee, and sometimes they forget that. But you know what? They don't come to see Steve Cherundolo either. So I don't know. Steve got the red. I don't think he'll be coaching in this next one. It'll be Ante Razov. And who knows? Maybe if Ante does well enough, we just keep letting Ante coach. Ante Razov, an absolute MLS legend, one of the first players to get over 100 goals in his career in Major League Soccer. So really fun to see Ante Razov patrolling the sidelines. He has been our first lieutenant since LAFC started. He is one of the originals from the 2018 team who was carried all the way over through 2024. If he doesn't get a head coaching gig soon, I have to think it's because he wants to stay at LAFC and continue to develop the winning culture that we have here. So, Loudoun United tomorrow. Don't forget, $20 tickets. It's general admission. People in the chat are asking about David Martinez. From what I understand with David Martinez, he really does have a back injury. Was he also probably in Steve Cherundolo's doghouse after a couple of decisions that he made? Sure, but you know what? What we have seen from LAFC over the course of our now 7 seasons is that they are going to give a really long leash to some of these really young players when they make some really poor decisions. For example, Brian Rodriguez. For example, some of the stuff that Diego Rossi did early on. Look, these young guys need time to mature and develop. David Martinez coming over from over to a brand new country, far away from his family at the age of 18 years old. He has all the talent in the world, but he's still trying to figure things out. And oh, by the way, the first time I ever hurt my back, I was 19 years old. I was not a professional soccer player, but what it did to my mind for at least the next couple of weeks after I healed, which took like 2-3 weeks in and of itself, which now, by the way, would be a miracle that anything I do heals in 2 to 3 weeks. All of a sudden, though, I wasn't the Superman that I thought I was before. My back went out and I got worried about all kinds of stuff. So just want to remind y'all, a back injury plus an ego injury plus adjusting to a new country, everybody breathe about David Martinez. He will be back and he will be contributing soon enough. I'm seeing here that Genuine Cougar says they were $45 through Ticketmaster. That's probably because of the stupid fees and everything else. They are $20 face value tickets. I'm sure Ticketmaster is charging an arm and a leg. Go straight to the box office. There might not be those fees or anything else. If you can make it to the box office before the match, just stop by tomorrow. Look, it's not going to sell out, people. I don't believe it's going to sell out. They're going to open the entire lower bowl. We know the 3252 will be up and roaring like they always do. I think they're also going to maybe open the south end. Not sure. Depends on how many tickets sell. Don't quote me on that. And from what I understand, it's just as of right now, one side of the stadium. It's the Figueroa Club side of the stadium. They usually reserve the Field Club side, those middle sections, for like friends, family, VIPs, things like that. So I don't get to go play over in that sandbox. I'm over on the other side with everybody else. It's going to be a lot of fun. LAFC Black and Gold on a Tuesday night at BMO for just $20 tickets. Mendo says he's using Klarna for his $20 ticket. I want to say thank you to everybody over on Instagram who's hanging out and watching us, everybody in the chat, everybody on Twitter, everybody on YouTube, and of course, you guys are fantastic. You've been incredibly supportive. Please don't forget, head on over to defendersofthebank.com. Head on over to the shop page. We have all kinds of fun merch, t-shirts, tank tops. We've got sweatshirts. We'll have all kinds of other cool stuff going on over at defendersofthebank.com. Our buddy Dexter, who has been incredible for us, designing all the cool merch. But we've got some really cool stuff, you guys. And we're going to have more stuff in just a little bit. I'm designing a couple of pieces that I think you guys are going to really like. It's going to be so much fun. And yes, as Ruben says, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I think I did okay managing all this stuff. We did go a little long, but it's because I absolutely love you guys over on all the different platforms that we've got. Again, ticket prices are $20. Don't forget, get out there to BMO Stadium tomorrow. Loudoun United, LAFC. I've got 3-0. You tell me what you've got in the chat, and let's play our cool outro music.